Hiya, and welcome to August. Unfortunately, we start off this month with some very bad news. Well, two lots of bad news, actually. I don't know if you remember in January when the first one I did, I said there'd be highs and lows along the way, and this month we've certainly been delivered two lows. We lost two guys. They're whenever the history of the Carp Society is documented, these two guys feature heavily in it, and they always will. First of all, we lost dear old Brian Sefton. I mentioned Brian a couple of videos ago when we named the top stop pond at Horseshoe in his honour. It's now called Brian's Pond, and that were indeed named after Brian. And yeah, unfortunately, Brian passed away a few weeks ago now, and for those of you who didn't watch the video or don't know Brian, he were at Horseshoe in the early days. He was a fishery manager, and he did a lot of good work down there. And one of the best things he ever did, in my opinion, is he secured Farriers for us, and not only secured Farriers, but he got the fish that it's now so famous for. Of course, he bought a load of fish, a load of commons from basically a puddle in a farmer's pond, but I don't know, he paid peanuts for them, and he put them in, and a lot of people forget Brian got a lot of stick for doing that, and people were wanting this fish and these other fish in, and Brian stuck to his guns, and he had confidence in the fish he were sourcing, and no matter how much people protested back in the days, you've got to put your hands up, and Brian did fantastically well. The fish he stocked into Farriers have made Farriers what it is today. So yeah, and like I say, he got a lot of stick for it at the time. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, because he did. And yeah, so but I didn't know Brian massively well. I first got to meet him when he were elected onto the board of directors after the EGM in 2015-16, and yeah, I'd heard of him and stuff, but I'd never met him before. And he were a character. He were a flamboyant fella, Brian, but he had a heart of gold, and he were a proper old-fashioned Labour guy, Labour and Conservatives. They're not like they were back in the 70s and 18, and the Labour Party are actually all about helping people. And well, I don't want to turn this into a political thing. That was very much Brian's ethos. He was a man of the people, I would say. It's like I said, I didn't know him massively well, but he, like myself, he had a love of Test match cricket, and we used to talk about cricket quite a lot. And yeah, he was a decent fella. He was a good bloke, and I was a bit annoyed on the open day. The last time I saw Brian, he came down, and he obviously weren't well. He didn't look well at all. And but there was someone at the open day who were going around telling people that when Brian left the society this time, it was something to do with me, and that's 1,000,000% wrong. Normally I wouldn't bother, but it did annoy me, because he couldn't have been more wrong. I like Brian. I had no bother with him whatsoever, and I actually think we got along quite well. So yeah, I was a bit annoyed at that, and it soured it a little bit for me. But yeah, God bless you, Brian. And yeah, and then of course, just recently, only a few days ago, we lost our president, Chris Ball. Chris, massive influence on carp fishing, and the amount of knowledge that guy had that he sadly now has taken away with him is unbelievable. You've never met anyone who knew as much about carp fishing. You've probably never met anyone who knew as much about anything as Chris did about carp and carp fishing. His knowledge was unbelievable, and it's sadly that knowledge has gone with him. he has documented a few things that I believe the Carp Society will be putting together and maybe bringing something out, but watch this space for that. But yeah, again, Chris, I knew him, I'd known him a bit longer than Brian. I wrote a piece on the Carp Society Facebook page about my introduction to Chris and the debt of gratitude I owe him. He introduced me to Chris Yates. He actually took me down to Chris Yates' house to interview him for the Carp Radio that we were doing at the time, and that was just one of the best days ever, you know, not just in fishing, but one of the best days in my life. It was just a marvellous day, and I can't thank Chris enough for that, you know. He's just absolutely amazing. And yeah, so yeah, Brian and Chris both gone this month, so yeah, not the best month. So but anyway, on a lighter note, we the beginning of this month we had the Junior Carp Camp down at Horseshoe, and what I'll do rather than waffling on about it now is I'll play you a few videos and show you a few photos we took from the event, and then we'll come back and talk about it later. Cheers. Hello and welcome back to Sitting on a Boat with Miles. I know, don't ask. Anyway, yeah, there you go. That were this year's Junior Carp Camp, and another fantastic year, another successful year, and massive thanks to everyone who helped out. You know, it's I keep saying it, and it's the usual suspects. Thanks very much, everyone. It were they all contributed to a fantastic event, and again, you know, everyone there gave up their time free of charge, and free of charge is in short supply these days, so massive thanks to everyone who helped out, and of course massive thanks to the trade who gave the kids hook links, hats, all sorts of stuff, enough to keep them going for a couple of years by the look of it all. So yeah, that was this year's Junior Carp Camp, and I don't know if you've noticed yet, but I'm actually down at Ashmead for this video. Come down here doing a bit of maintenance. We're clearing a bit of the weed, and again, we're not cutting the weed, we're just getting rid of all the floating weed. This Ashmead is a particularly weedy lake, and while we're not opposed to weed, sometimes on here it just does get a bit too much and renders 3/4 of the lake unfishable, you know, at least. So yeah, we've come down here to get rid of that. You might hear a bit of noise in the background. We've got Alan and Jamie on with the boat, so they're doing a bit, and then while we're here, we're also doing the stop pond up there. I'm not sure if I covered it, but a couple of months ago we had a go at it, and it didn't go according to plan, let's say that. So we got the digger back in, and we're having another go at it, and Kel surprise, it's not going according to plan already. The digger broke yesterday, and so, so I'm beginning to think that pond is cursed. But anyway, we'll persevere, and hopefully I'll show you a couple of videos of how we're getting on. So yeah, no rest for the wicked. Having said that, it's Tuesday now. On Thursday I am actually getting the rods out. I'm going to Farriers for 72 hours. It's a match come social for the permit holders on Farriers. Martin Brown organises it, and we've had it every year for the last, I think this is the 4th year, and they're always nice events. It's not taken too seriously, although seriously enough to make it interesting. But it's a good time, and I don't get the rods out anywhere near often enough, so it's a nice excuse for me just to be on the bankside fishing. I will be trying to win, but there's some good anglers there who know Farriers, and they've all had their fair share of fish out of there, so I'm up against it anyway. But I'm sure I'll enjoy it. But what I'll do, I'll take the camera with me, and we'll see how that goes. But for the time being, from Miles sat on a boat at Ashmead, I shall bid you farewell. There you go, that's a bit of the work we did down at Ashmead last week. As you might be able to see now, there's a change of venue, and I mentioned earlier they're all coming to Farriers, and that's indeed where I am now. It's Saturday morning now. I got here on Thursday, came straight from Ashmead up here. Like I say, it's Saturday now. I'm pretty tired, to be honest. I could do with a night in my own bed, but yeah, what I'm doing here is every year the permit holders organise a match between themselves, and Brownie organises it. But it consists of all the permit holders on here. I think there's 22 of us on here for this match. We drew pegs on Thursday. And those familiar with Farriers might know where I am. I'm actually in peg 19, what they call the lawns. So, I'm not really sure why they call it the lawns. It's more like call it the swamp. But yeah, it's peed it down nearly all the time we've been here, and apart from the odd hour here and there, like just now, there's don't seem to be any breaking up. It goes on till tomorrow midday, Sunday midday, but yeah, Thursday it started, and there were no fish out Thursday, no fish out Thursday night, and then yesterday, Friday, a few people started catching, and then I don't know, maybe a third of the lads, if not half the lads, have caught. They all seem to be over that area. That's my excuses already, but I haven't caught anything. But yeah, the match is pretty close. There's a prize for the biggest fish, and then a prize for the biggest combined weight of fish. The biggest fish so far over there, Paul Thatcher had 46 yesterday. There's a few years ago there were 350s in here. One of them we lost sadly, and the other two, I'm not sure if that 46 is one of the ones that have been out of 50 that's down in weight. So he may already have snaffled himself the biggest fish prize, but if he hasn't, there'll only be 2 or 3 fish at the most in here that'll beat that, I reckon. But he also, not long ago, he had 29, so he's got them under his belt. Pete Roach over there has had 3 or 4 fish. Robo had a 42, I believe, yesterday, and a 30. George Withers has had a couple of decent 30s from the I Bank. Stig had a 41. Gary Carter down on the road bank side, he's had a couple of fish, so there's quite a few of them that are still in with a chance of winning. Something miraculous would have to happen for me to have a chance. I'm up here in this corner here, and to be honest, I don't think the fish have been up here. I don't think it's particularly that I'm doing anything wrong. I don't think the fish are up here. So, yeah, it's be interesting to see how it goes, really. But in an hour or so, we've got to reel in and go down for one of Brownie's socials. He's got one of his chef mates up here doing a barbecue and what have you, so we'll go down there. It's a compulsory reeling, so I dare say we'll have a bit of a laugh down there. There'll be plenty of piss taking, that's for sure. But yeah, we'll go down there, get something to eat, come back, get the rods out tonight, and see what happens. Really now, to be honest, I'm just fishing to try and catch myself a fish. My chances in a match are not really good, like I say, unless something miraculous happens. But you never know. But right, I'll catch you later on now then. there you go. A few clips from the barbecue last night. Well, yesterday afternoon. Yeah, good fun. I quite enjoyed it. The rain cut it short, but yeah, we had some good food, good company. We're yeah, good crack. It's unfortunately I couldn't record any of it. I don't think they'd allow the conversations that were going on YouTube, to be honest. But yeah, anyway, it's Sunday morning now. Pretty quiet night last night. I don't think anyone had out, and then this morning I know Adam down to my right on the second high bank, he's had one. Last night Stig had another 45, so that goes with his 41 that he had earlier. So, but probably more significantly, Pete Roach just had a 35 about half an hour ago. He were in the lead by a couple of pounds from George, so that fish probably puts Pete 41 pound in front of George. So yeah, it's still all to go, all to play for. There's about 3 or 4 hours left, but I think any one of 3 or 4 of them could win it, but Pete seems to be the favourite at the minute. And oh yeah, forgot to tell you, when we came back from the barbecue, I actually had a fish myself. Unfortunately, there's no prize for the smallest fish at the competition, but yeah, I had a little 14 pounder, but it saves a blank, and for me, I was quite happy with that, because that's one that I sort of gave life to him. Me and Carl brought it on from the ponds, so yeah, I was quite pleased to see that. Could have done with it being 41, like, but you can't have everything. But yeah, it's gonna give it another hour or so, and then start packing up. There's more rain forecast for later on, but I'll try and get away before that starts. But everything's wet through anyway now and damp, so I'm gonna have to dry it all out when I get back. But yeah, I've had a good time. It's been nice. I really enjoyed it. And, I've got the presentation at 12 o'clock, so I'll get a bit of footage of that and tell you who the winners are or what have you, and see if we can get word with Brownie afterwards. Yeah, there seems to be a few fish out in front of me this morning, so I don't know, I'm hopeful of getting a bite. Forever the optimist. I'll catch you in a bit. Right, Martin, end of another brilliant competition. How do you think it went?
Really good. Again, all the guys. It was a social event, as we know, but with a bit of a match twist, and everyone's smiling. The great atmosphere. Really played out really nice. Everyone had a chance.
Yeah.
This time, you know, it wasn't that peggy. At the top, George, great angling. Pete, real mega angling, and the big girls and boys come out to play.
Wait for this guy to go past. Yeah, I was laughing to myself earlier on. The guy had 240s, didn't get the biggest fish and didn't win the match.
Stig, he had a 41, 42, and John Doe, what a mega fish that is at 45 pounds.
Yeah.
Beautiful looking fish. So
and then he's even got in the end.
No, all he got is he's got a load of goo on his head and a load of weed on his head for doing it. Yeah, but and Paul Thatcher had the 46.
Yeah.
I think it was Chili's.
Yeah, I believe
Chili's
so.
fish, so that's mega. So you know, you can't complain. 640s
Is that what we had
this
out,
weekend. Yeah, there was a total of 26 fish. 3 doubles, well, me and you had a double, 10 20s and 730s and 640s, 730s and 640s.
Can't go wrong with that, can you?
On a pressured event, you can't moan about that.
No. Nice food as well?
Yeah, the food was good, so we went this time, we thought we'd put a food package in, breakfast rolls, which was great by Chef UK, Jason, so we thank him for that. And the barbecue, again, it is the next level. I couldn't eat all mine, and I eat a lot of food. But, you know, he puts it all on for us, and when I used to do it, it just takes that stress away, where the preparation and buying it, putting it in a thing, and keeping it frozen and getting out and then cooking it, obviously. Especially if it's really hot, it's hard work, so it was good.
And have Richie critiquing you as well.
Yeah, gay Rich as usual, you know, don't ever ask him what he thinks, because if it was, you know what he's like.
It doesn't make me laugh.
Yeah, he needs to just get this grass a bit sorted out.
But yeah, I think it's been a fantastic event and a great crack, and credit to you. Thanks very much for organising it.
Thanks to you and the Carp Society, obviously, and our members on this lake, that obviously we take a good weekend away from their ticket. So thanks for them, for the patience. But they've got every chance to be in it, you know, like everyone else. So again, thanks to you and thanks to the Carp Society.
No worries. Mate, pleasure, mate.
Thanks very much. Take care.
My apologies there for the strange angle of the camera on the interview with Brownie. I'd actually packed up and packed everything away by then, so I didn't have the tripod out, so I tried to film it off the ground, but hopefully you get the gist of it anyway. So yeah, there you go. That brings August to an end. It's been quite a mad month, really, quite a long one. The Junior Carp Camp seems bloody months away. Months ago now, but yeah, the other bits and bats we did as well. We not long after I came back from Farriers, we had a report that the cesspit were full, so I had to deal with that. That was quite a messy job, as you can imagine, so it's not something you want to be filming, but yeah, it's we're into September tomorrow, so won't be far till autumn's here. Hopefully I can get out and do a bit more fishing before then. So, but yeah, that's about it for this month. Thanks very much for watching. If you can do me a favour, if you watch this, if you can just like it and subscribe to the channel, it does help the channel grow and reach a few more people. So if you can do that for us, that would be great. So in the meantime, we'll see you in September.